if my computer ever wants to go live, then we'll be good. There you go.
Let's get it. This is Eternal Underground Production. Shout out in the zone, baby. Don't know what it is, man. You're now tuned in to the Hodge Sports Show with a pick on target sharper than cat in 17 with a crossbow before you place the bet. Unless your aim is set, holler your buys. Check the floor right here. From other stations, we got you covered. Don't waste your time. Ain't no need to straddle the fence. Now you can take a side with competition where you think it's gazelle can take the line. If you in opposition, just listen. Or it will change your mind. So you catch him right here. Every show a banger like Ray Lewis at the quarterback. Got open forms, you got to stop it or will it trust it. But don't come on here talking that nonsense and don't know nothing. No hesitation, get put in your place. End the discussion. Ain't no sugarcoating over here, keep it 100. Got a question, we gon' come with the answer like piracy. If you ain't know then, you know now just what time it is. I'm showing reppin' the city of brotherly love. Phillies stand up, Superbowl, 52 champions. Baltimore in the building. Mixing Louis Sports Pack, got Charm City on his back. Putting on a foot like Hal Ripken Jr. back with the Orioles. And he's what we bound to die. Let's go. This knowledge from these college school. Follow us, shout out, let's go. Without you, this impossible. You rock with us, we rock with you. I love us, I love for you. Much love.
Woo-wee! Welcome to the Hodgepodge Sports Show. We got a full roster tonight. I am Patrick Hodge. He is Sean James Harrison. Our third man in the booth, Danny Spalding. Baltimore, Philly, Oklahoma. Let's rise up. Sean, take us around the sports world.
This week in Around the Sports World, today in the NFL, the awards were announced. Defensive Player of the Year going to Stephon Gilmore. Comeback Player of the Year going to Ryan Tannehill. Defensive Rookie of the Year going to Nick Bosa. Offensive Rookie of the Year going to Kyler Murray. Assistant Coach of the Year going to Greg Roman. Coach of the Year going to Jim Harbaugh. Offensive Player of the Year going to Michael Thomas. He's the only wide receiver since Jerry Rice to receive this award. MVP Lamar Jackson. Walter Payton Man of the Year is Calais Campbell. Hall of Fame class of 2020 consists of Steve Atwater, Isaac Bruce, Steve Hutchinson, Edgerrin James, and Troy Polamalu. In the world of the NBA, Kobe and eight others, including his daughter Gigi, tragically passed away in a helicopter accident last Sunday. Players around the league are showing their respect to Kobe and Gigi. Carmelo has yet to play as he's grieving over the loss of his friend. Reserves have been named for the All-Star game. In the comments, write your biggest snubs down in the comments. We may discuss them later. In the world of the NHL, Alex Ovechkin passes Mark Messier in career goals. Also wears 24 and is planning to auction off the jersey, and all the proceeds are going to go to the Kobe Bryant Foundation. Drew Dougherty sees active games played streak end at 460. It was the fifth longest active streak in the NHL. And that is what's going on around the sports world this week.
Man, it has been a fantastic week as well as a tragic week around the sports world. We will be coming back to our own tribute of Kobe Bryant. We're going to touch on those NFL awards. So if you're down in the 615 area code, the 423 area code, I need y'all to stop crying. For y'all to know those area code, that's Tennessee. I need y'all to start crying and give us a call because I'm calling you out. 888-531-5305, 50317 is our pin. We are going from now to 11 p.m. We will be going back to the NBA for sure. We're definitely going to be paying our respects to Kobe Bryant. We're going to get into the Super Bowl, things like that. We're going to talk about this golf tournament that we were just discussing off scene, just how amazing the crowds are. We got a lot to get to, so we're going to need your participation, not only in the live feed, but we want our phone lines ringing off the hook tonight. We are Hodgepodge Sports Show. We're going to pick up. Sean, you missed it last week, man. I know you caught the replay of it, man, but we had the privilege of being able to interview Rick Burkholder, VP of Sports Management and Development for Kansas City Chiefs. And the first part of the interview was really good. And where we're going to pick it up at, Danny, is we asked the question about the conversation between him and Pat Mahomes when he got hurt earlier this year. And then the second part of this interview is really going to cap off his approach and like what he's thinking about as far as the Super Bowl goes and like what he's going to take away from it personally. So sit back. We got about 15 minutes of this to get through, and then we're going to come right back into our Kobe Bryant tribute from Hodge Podge Sports Show, and then we'll get on with the show. All right, here we go. Let's cue this up.
And that's good. So that's fantastic because now I have two more questions. The first question I have, and you'll appreciate this. What's the conversation with Patrick? Right, he's telling you he wants to play. He feels good. The X-ray comes back. You have to be the voice of reason and worry about next week, next month, next year, and the year after. How does that conversation go? Is it tense, or is it pretty much because of that confidence and that trust is built? You can simply say to him, "You can't go," and it's that.
Yeah. So for me, it's stressful.
I can imagine.
It's something that keeps me up at night. But those conversations, although in the moment, those conversations developed over time. So,
Okay.
I think that Patrick knows that he trusts our staff, and we're always in the best interest of the athlete. We've had conversations leading up to things. I've talked to the people who train him in the off season. So I know what his body's like. I'm very good friends with his agent. I'm very good friends with his family. And all that builds trust. So, I think that when I tell Patrick, you can't do something, it's coming from a parent view, not from a friend view. Now, Pat and I are friends.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Socially, now we don't go out, but we meet every morning and shoot it up, just like, I don't know, like in a barber shop, what happened in the pro football and what's going on with this guy and that guy. And we do all that. But when it comes to his football playing and my expertise in medicine, he knows that I'm going to protect him. So it's parent to child, basically. And that's the relationship we've built since the day he walked in the building. And I try to build it with all my players. Now, it doesn't always go as smooth with everybody because every situation's different. Once you know that they're safe, there's guys that are in free agent years. There's guys that know that if I hold them out, they're going to lose their job. Job or whatever. So you got to balance all that, and every situation is different. But that's what makes my job fun and very rewarding and very, very fulfilling.
Yeah. Well, you said it's fun and rewarding and fulfilling, and I agree with that. But man, there's got to be a ton of stress, right? Just based off the last nugget you said, right? Because every situation is different and every player is different, right? So like you said, if someone can't play or you make a decision to hold them out, they might look at it differently, but then that's where all that trust and everything comes back. So that's really great stuff. So you also mentioned, and I love this, right? Come in as teammates and leave as family. We don't get to see everything. I'm not privy to everything that goes inside a locker room, right? And let us see what they want us to see. And you mentioned the Honey Badger. He's like the leader of the defense. What type of person is he? Because he has really seemed to have flourished in Kansas City. We know what type of athlete and what type of player he is, but can you speak a little bit more to the personal side of him? Because he seems like a real fascinating guy, and he really does give back to his community at home, and he's ingrained himself in the Kansas City area as well.
Yeah, so as a football player, he's truly the honey badger. Like, he doesn't give it. I mean, he doesn't care how big the snake is. He doesn't care how big whatever he's attacking. Honey badger's going to get what he wants, and he's incredibly bright. And he studies. He does all that point to his head because he watches so much film. As a football player, the honey badger, and he's selfless. Like, he's trying to make his teammates better. He's a great motivator. He leads by example. There's just like the trust between Patrick and I and Tyreek and I. There's that trust between Honey Badger and him. They know that he's always doing the best for all, 20 guys that he's for. So as a football player, he's that way. But as a person, he's even better than that. He's selfless, when it comes to life. So he does so much for the community.
Nice.
He came in here as a free agent that people knew the Honey Badger as a name. They didn't know Honey Badger as a person. And he's done so much for the community for, like, animals and keeping your animals out in the cold and kids being left in cars in the summer. And then, providing shopping sprees for underprivileged kids. He and Patrick, it's interesting in your career, get generational talent. We've got two guys on this football team that are generational people, and that's a rarity. And it's hard. I'm not saying
No. That's a beautiful statement right there. Generational people. That's beautiful. Yeah.
Generational people. I'm not criticizing other guys. This job that they do is tough. They're in the limelight. They've got to protect themselves. They're vulnerable. But those two guys, and you go back to Pat. So Pat on an off day, he's out building homes for homeless veterans. Pat Mahomes doesn't have to do that to create a legacy. Pat Mahomes does that because he was raised right. And,
there it is. There it is, right there. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Badger hit rock bottom when he was at LSU, but he's come back up and he learned from it. And he's very influential to our young guys. He's very influential in the community. But it's because he was raised right. He realized right from wrong, and now he's chosen right. And that's infectious in your organization. I'm not telling everybody we have a fire boy, and you don't want
Sure.
You got to have a couple of them. And Kansas City is a small market team in a small city. They have those two stats have really taken over this city, and the city has given back to them as well. And it's kind of a neat relationship because the Chiefs are part of the fabric of Kansas City, and those two guys are definitely the top dogs of the team, and they give back to the community, and they give back to their teammates, and they give back to us too. They take care of my medical. It's a lot of fun. They truly are fans.
No, that's great. So, the toughest injury for an NFL player to come back from is what, or you've seen in your career?
Well, toughest depends on position and damage. I will tell you this.
Sure.
When I was with Pittsburgh, I had a guy named Jerry Osasco who played for the Steelers and was a classmate of mine at the University of Pittsburgh. He was also in my wedding. But he tore his ACL, so ACLs are tough anyway. He tore ACL, tore his medial collateral ligament, tore his posterior cruciate ligament. He tore both meniscus. He tore 3 muscles off the bone, all on one play. They gave him no chance back. He came back and played it the other month. So that was fun. A little story about Jerry O. We played in the Super Bowl in 95, 96 Super Bowl after he was after he rehabbed and came back. I was giving him goals for his rehab one time, and he grabbed me by the shirt. He said, "Listen, there's 2 goals: win a Super Bowl and make the Hall of Fame. If you're a professional football player, 2 goals: win a Super Bowl, make the Hall of Fame." So when we were at the national anthem in Phoenix, Pittsburgh versus Dallas, I found him at 55. I just kept looking at him, thinking, well, if he didn't live out one of his goals, chance to win a Super Bowl. It was pretty emotional. So that's probably the worst. That's probably one of the better rehabs I've done. I've gotten a lot more credit for Theo and Rod Woodson, but Jerry O's is tough. Real tough.
Yeah, because I'm reading that right now. There's Frank and how you're focused on that and everything. So, a couple more minutes, and I appreciate you extending the time this morning. So, as you get prepared, head down to Miami, right? Will you have a chance to soak in that you're at the Super Bowl? Or is it just going to be like nonstop? Once you hit the ground, is it going to be nonstop, making sure everything's ready? Checking on players that might have a few nicks going into Sunday's big game. Like, what does that look like for you, if you can sum that up real quick?
Yeah, so interesting. I do a lot of self-enrichment just to keep my nerves calm down. Keep me real about myself, because you can get full of yourself in the National Football League. But I just read something the other day. I'm preparing a talk also, and the author said, and I'm pretty sure it was John Gordon, he said, in today's society, there's so much about achievement that we don't become fulfilled because we're so achievement-based. And so I had to check, because I get very nervous about these games that I don't have much control over, because once we get to the game, the players play, right?
Right.
So I've got to step back. I have a lot of friends at secondary school athletic trainers, a lot of college athletic trainers, and my daughters, and my wife. They've all been great with me. they're sending me things like, this is awesome for you, we're proud of you, you're the winner ring. And I'm trying to take a step back and say, all right, I'm fulfilling one of my things. I can't look at it as achievement. I've got to look at it as fulfillment. And I've kind of flipped my thinking to think, all right, so the achievement is to win the Super Bowl, but the fulfillment is that what I do for living, I allow entertain masses. So I've assumed my role as that, filled by the fact that we were able to get Pat back on the field, able to get Tyreek back on the field. They're able to make money and take care of their families. But most importantly, they're able to entertain the masses, troops overseas, people in my hometown, people in Kansas City, people worldwide. And I have a part in that. And I have an obligation to all those paying customers, all those people that need 3-4 hours of relief from daily life to watch the National Football League. And I feel obligated to make sure that I put our best performers out on the field safely and effectively. And that's my fulfillment. So back to your original question, yeah, I'm going to take it in. I'm going to take it in, and I'm going to read as much as I can about how many millions are watching the game and try to take in all the stories of all these people that cried when we got to the Super Bowl and all the people that are affected that aren't named Burkholder.
Right.
All
There
the
it
other
is.
ones that I touch indirectly that I've never met before. And so, yeah, I will take it in. I'm not going to take in what some people think of the Super Bowl, of the nightlife and the parties and all that. Now that's not why I'm going there. If I want to do that, I'll take a separate trip to Miami and do it with my friends and family. But right now, my job is to make sure that Pat and Tyreek and Honey Badger and Chris Jones and Frank Clark, they can play at the highest level so that they can achieve their goals, get fulfillment, and then they can fulfill other people's dreams and other people's enjoyment. This world right now is so tough. You know, we're so negatively charged. We're so black and white, so much, positive, negative, that, the Super Bowl, the one cool thing I love about the NFL, I'm kind of off on a tangent, but when you're on the field and you're on a sideline, or which you're with this team when we get on the plane tomorrow morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no racial bias. There's no religious bias. There's no money bias. There's no, jealousy of women, men, any of that. It's just for that time where we play football, it's the way I think society should be. And you only get that for about 3 or 4 hours a week unless you're with the team all the time. But that's the relief for guys like you who love sports, is you love the pageantry, you love the unknown, you love the entertainment value, the seeing these men make great plays. And yeah, you may have a rooting interest in one team or the other, but it's really an entertainment thing for you. And I think it's, I said my dad touches thousands of kids in Carlisle as they develop, which is so important. But I'm touching people indirectly by making sure that our entertainers are entertaining at the highest level.
Yes. And that's a great way to talk about that and put that in perspective for everybody out there and that's listening. So if there's anything that we can do through our little forum to promote, so if there's any articles or anything that you ever want to share, post it, give it to me. I'll make sure I post it and share it as much as I can, because one of the things that I want to go back to that you said at the beginning, and I wouldn't have realized that if you had mentioned it, that not all schools have an athletic trainer. I thought that was something that was standard throughout all the schools. So that's something that really needs to be talked about and brought to attention as well. So I'll continue to look for articles and things like that to help push that message. But we here, everybody in Carlisle, right? We're behind you. You know it. Everybody Hot Sports, and we wish you the best of luck. We want everybody to come out of that game next Sunday healthy, and we look forward to hearing from you again after it's all said and done, so you can share some experiences that we wouldn't even think about that happened.
All right, well, I appreciate it. One thing is, if we win this, or when we win, we'll do it back on the show and share the experience with you guys, because like I told you, I'm fans, I follow it. I don't get to see as much football as you guys do because I'm with my team all the time, but I do want to share with you that I'll leave you with this. Eternally indebted to the people of Carlisle. I love them. They they set the foundation for me. I would not be where I'm at without everybody who raised me up in Carlisle, coaches, you know, teammates, people like you, people that are my friends, people that you guys. Carlisle's a big place, little town that not many people know, but
Right.
it laid the foundation for me to be able to work this Super Bowl and take care of my guys. So I love you. I love my people in Carlisle and coach.
Yeah, man, we love you back. Rick Burkholder, Vice President of Sports Medicine and Performance for the Kansas City Chiefs. Good luck to you, brother. Thanks for calling. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, Pat.
All right, man. That was the second part of our interview with Rick Burkholder, as you heard, VP of Sports Medicine and Development for the Kansas City Chiefs. We wish him all the best of luck tomorrow in the Super Bowl. Right now, we are going to throw it over to Sean James Harrison and move on with the show.
First, we're going to start off by taking we're going to do our own little tribute to Kobe right now, where we are going to take 32 seconds of complete silence in remembrance of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi and the 7 other passengers on the helicopter. If you can't figure out why it's 32, learn math. I don't know what else to tell you. And that'll begin right now. All right. As with that, I'd like to thank you guys all for sparing with us for that 32 seconds there. Real tragedy what happened with Kobe and everything, and not enough can be said about it. There's no amount of words that can be said about it. Being from Montgomery County, Lower Merion's 15-20 minutes from where I live personally. Um, you know, growing up, that's all you heard about was Kobe Bryant. From the area, getting drafted, and people are going to sit here and try to say, he wasn't Philadelphia. Some people say that dude was more Philly than any of you ever will be. All right, just plain and simple. With all these fake people that want to sit here and tell me that he's not from Philly. He's not. He didn't ever want to rep Philadelphia. He didn't want to rep Philadelphia during 2001 playoffs when he was going against the Philadelphia 76ers in a Lakers uniform. He did what he had to do, and nothing but respect to that man. I may never consider him to be one of the greatest of all time, but I'm not naive to think that he isn't one of the greatest players that I've ever seen play. Do you have anything you want to share, Patrick?
Yeah, man. I'm not a Laker fan by no means. Wasn't the biggest Kobe Bryant fan, but the impact that he had on the NBA community and the world is just unparalleled right now. I mean, the things that he did for the sport, the things that he did for his community, the things that he did for his family, and it's a little different for you and I, being that we have kids, right? And I can't imagine what those last moments might have been like for him and his daughter and the other people with their families on that helicopter. So I'm glad to see that a lot of people are coming out and speaking about him and the things that he did outside of things that we might not already known about him. It's a great loss in all the way around. Tremendous person, tremendous father. He will go down as one of the best basketball players in history, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even more so now. People will take a look at that. But
yeah.
I think the thing that that's really exciting to me or impressive to me is how the NBA is just coming out and reaching out and doing some things, man. Like segue in out of this melancholy state into the show, right? This All-Star game. And I'm really interested to get your take on it because this is your thing, NBA, right? So we'll come back to the NBA All-Star selections. But what do you think about the format? You know, running clock, right? They're gonna keep a cumulative total for the first 3 periods, and then period 4, if I understand it right, the team that's ahead may have to get 24 points to win, and then the other team, however far behind they are, has to make up a difference to win. What do you think about that tribute and that format of the game itself?
Well, I mean, I hate the All-Star game. I hate everything about the All-Star game. I hate everything that it represents. I despise it, and it's frustrating because I genuinely think that when we're talking about like just the best world class athletes in the world and across all sports, I mean, we're gonna differ on this. I know we are, but I'm always gonna think that when it comes to being the best athletes in the world, it's always gonna be NBA players. I think that they're the most phenomenal athletes that we've ever seen. And to sit here and have an all-star game, whether any format, and I don't want to just talk about just this format because it's any format. I mean, the tribute part of it is cool, and I like the tribute part of it, but the 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 format of the NBA All-Star game in general is a joke. It always has been. The players don't care. They don't, it's literally just, it's all show. It's a modified dunk contest. That's what it's always been. That's what it'll always be. Now it's a modified 3-point contest because that's what the league is trying to do. And it's not enjoyable to watch. So I have ideas for change. I'm not sure if you would like to hear my ideas for change, but I have ideas for change. And
Yeah, sure.
I think it's very simple. You make it a 3-on-3, where you get your 15 people on both teams. Make a 3-on-3 tournament out of this, and then after the 3-on-3, the winning team of the 3-on-3 tournament donate the money. They get $1 million, and that gets donated to a charity of the team's choosing. At least you'll see competitive play because everybody is gunning for something.
So like 3-on-3, like the big three, like a half court type 3-on-3.
Kind of, but just better, better than the big three. But yeah,
it would be better. Yeah, the quality of play would be better because of the players, right? For sure.
Yeah,
but that's not an idea though. I think that the NBA is such a gimmick in itself, right? Like all All-Star games that, like you said, are just hard watches. Maybe outside the ML, the baseball, because it's still baseball, right? Baseball's kind of you got to pitch it, you got to hit it, you still got to do those fundamental things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe if they can put like the 10-point shot in, right, and things like that to juice it up. But I think that this format that they're going to for this year, I'm anxious to see what that looks like. I kind of like the fact that but it doesn't seem like 24 points is a lot for these caliber players, though, right? It seems like that's something that can be done pretty quickly, right?
They're gonna have 150 at halftime.
Yeah. But I think that's the part I kind of like, that it really doesn't matter how many points you score for the first 3, right? Because like it's gonna reset at the, so you're just winning the quarter per se.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool in itself, man. Keeping on with the NBA All-Star theme, and then we'll get Danny on, and then we got another caller on the line as well. These All-Star picks, man, like, walk me through this All-Star selection, right? It's the fan vote, right, for the starters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's fan vote and coaches or player picks for the reserves. Talk to me about it.
It's 50% fan vote. Then it's basically after the starters, which me and Maury had this conversation on Facebook earlier, that it's not it's fan vote's dumb. They should just take the fan vote away. It should just be media and coaches pick the all-star players. That's who it should be, because they're going to be the most what's the word I'm looking for? Most fair about it. They're not going to try to get Alex Caruso or Takeo Falls into the All-Star games because of who they are. It won't
Right.
it won't be like complete blasphemy. So that's one thing, and the second thing is, once you get to reserves, it's the coaches and it's the fan vote. And that's why I said in our world of sports, that's why I said I want people to write who they thought got snubbed, and the only person I saw write something was Brian Jones, and we'll get to his soon enough, because there's a lot of players that are pissed, and there are some players that are rightfully pissed off. and other players.
Yeah.
I always say this, and this is what I brought up when somebody was talking about in our group about being pissed off about a player not getting in. I was like, well, you can't just put the player in. You need to take somebody out. So you can't say, oh, he got snubbed.
Right.
When you say somebody got snubbed, you have to tell me who you're going to replace him with. All right?
Right. That's
And now-
important. Yeah. That's a great exercise.
And now, like, listen, we can have a conversation about it. I don't ever mind having a conversation. But, like, for instance, my brother said that Tobias Harris should have been in over Chris Middleton. That's one of the dumbest statements I've ever heard. Chris Middleton is averaging more points than Tobias Harris is, and he's a way better defender than Tobias Harris is. Then somebody else brought up Spencer Dinwiddie, which was laughable also, saying they should have been over Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's a way better defender than Spencer Dinwiddie is, and Spencer Dinwiddie only does good when Kyrie Irving's not playing. So there's players like Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry maybe shouldn't deserve to be there, but Spencer Dinwiddie is not the player that you should be mentioning over Kyle Lowry. There's two or three other players that should have made it in over Kyle Lowry.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm always open to these conversations, but you can't just say, "Oh,
right,
Devin Booker should have made it." Well, who should have Devin Booker made it over then? Tell me that. Give me a player's name because that's important.
Yeah, but just being like the casual fan and observer, and I've been watching a little more this year. I was shocked that he didn't get it.
So Devin
Booker. And
so
I typed the name too, Bradley Beal. I'm surprised that Bradley Beal didn't get it.
I agree.
That's a big one. Yeah, that's a big one for me. And then asking me, I probably would put Bradley Beal in over Kyle Lowry at this point, right?
I would too.
Just off the example, Devin Booker. I mean, I'd have to look at who's in on the West to see who he could replace. But I mean, could you put him in, say, over Westbrook? Could you put him in over Chris Paul? I mean, Chris Paul is big. I'm just throwing names out, and I'm not saying funny. Those names.
It's funny. Danny's not gonna like.
And I'm gonna take Danny off so he can chime in. I had him on mute, but he's live now. But I'm not saying that he should. I'm actually giving these names out as I'm asking.
Yeah, it's funny though because you say those two names, and Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul are the two names that are brought up when talking about replacing Devin, or like that Devin Booker should have gotten in for. And this is the 1 year. This is the 1 year in Russell Westbrook's long career that I can say that I think Russell Westbrook should not have made the All-Star game, and Devin Booker should have made it over him. Chris Paul, he has made OKC. He's kept OKC relevant. He deserved to make the All-Star game. He has single-handedly continued. He's kept that train rolling in OKC. He's proven that he's a good leader, and he wasn't the problem in Houston. All right, like he's good. I accept him being in.
Yeah. No. I like what you did there. I like how you tied that in. I agree.
The third name that's often brought up is also Brandon Ingram. But I'm gonna say the same thing to you that I said to somebody else: is Brandon Ingram deserves it this year. And Brandon Ingram proved that him coming off of LA, that he was being held back in LA. Because he's
when he played college ball.
What's up?
When he played college ball.
Oh, stop it! Stop it now! You're not going to try to get me to be a two-comer. No, I will force you to sit down. Stop it.
No. Listen. I'm only saying that because when we went through this exercise last year, right? Remember you played? It was me, you. I think it was Danny. It was Ant, and you played the gem, and we all had to all call you with our best.
Yeah.
Right. And I was adamant that the Lakers had the better package because of Brandon Ingram.
Uh-huh.
I think I
agreed with you though.
You did. I think pretty much everybody did because I was like, yo, that package with Kuzma, Brandon Ingram is so much better than what the Celtics could offer. And he's proven me right.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm teasing you about that. But yeah, I can't wait to get Danny's take on this, boy. I can't wait for him to chime in.
So
I'm pretty sure Nate's on the line too. 9-3, the 973 number, so we'll bring him on too.
Okay.
We gotta be prepared to bring him on. Yeah. But you're absolutely you just can't arbitrarily say somebody got snubbed and then not say that they got snubbed without saying who they should be replacing. And I did that with I asked that with Brian Jones last week because he said that he thought that Rudy Gobert maybe should have been a starter, but he said, and I asked him, I said, well, who should he be in over? He said, well, I'll put it to you like this. He said, if he's not going to be a starter, he absolutely should be named as right. And I like that answer because I thought that was pretty fair. And then he made it. And then he's saying the problem in Houston is Mike D'Antoni, but that's another problem for another day. Hey man, I'm on that soapbox. I said it last year. I said it last week. I'll say it again tonight. As long as he's the coach, they ain't winning the championship.
I agree with that statement as well.
Danny, where you at on this NBA All-Star snub? Talk.
Yeah, I mean,
say he probably had himself.
I'm going to agree with Sean. You're not going to make me.
Wait, hold on. This might be, I can hear you just fine, but hold on. This might be an HPS first. Did you just say that you're going to agree with Sean?
I
am. All right, I love it. Go ahead, Danny.
We've had our agreements before, but like Sean said, he's I was going to get mad because he thinks Westbrook's not an all-star, and I would agree with him. I if it came down to Westbrook or Devin Booker, I would put it Booker. It's because Booker, I think, is having a better season. I mean, his stats are unreal right now, and it is a shame that he didn't get, voted into the All-Star. Westbrook is having a good season too. He's shooting a lot. He's shooting the ball a lot better than he did last year. His free throw percentage is up. He's not jacking up threes every game. He's just having a really solid season. But he's nowhere. I don't think he's on the level that Booker is. As far as Chris Paul, yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with him being there. But if you can make the argument that Booker should be over either one of those. I don't really get too caught up about who made it, who didn't, because I feel like it is really just a popularity contest, and it's been like that for the past couple of years, probably maybe better part of a decade that I can remember. So I'm not going to get heated over so-and-so player didn't make it and this other player did. I'm just there to watch basketball and have, I'm just there to watch skills. I don't really care for the game. I don't know. I'm sure it's more of a like an accolade that a player can say, yeah, I'm an all-star. But as far as fans, it doesn't really bother me who gets in, who doesn't get in.
And Tanny, I was actually I'm happy you said that because I was gonna say that, like, you don't care, but the players definitely care, and that's like when I got on Kevin Dixon's show last week, and he was saying, why does it matter about being a first ballot Hall of Famer? I was like, the players care, like the Hall of Fame, like the players really care about these accolades. They all really, because it means it's fulfilling that success to them. It's saying that I'm good enough. That's what it's doing. And every athlete has that same mindset to where they want to constantly prove that they're good enough. And that is an accomplishment to them to prove that they are good enough. And one more thing I want to add to what you're saying is I cannot put Devin Booker in over Chris Paul, and I will fight that tooth and nail. Chris Paul, like I said, has kept OKC afloat. He has kept OKC in the playoffs. And if you want to look at it and be 100% real, if you look at OKC's team and you look at the Phoenix Suns team, how can you say what's stopping me from just saying that Booker is a volume scorer on a bad team? We don't know what he looks like with other star players around him because he's been bad with this. He's been on the Suns that have been horrible for 6 years now, 7 years ish. And I can say the same thing. I'm not going to get into that name yet because I'm going to bring that one up later. But yeah, just saying.
I'm not saying anything. I'm listening. I'm letting them ride.
I'll bring up another name later, but I'm going to leave that name alone.
I know you will. Let you do your thing.
But
I love it.
You said we got Nate out there. Oh, go ahead, Danny. I'm sorry.
Like, yeah, for me, when you get voted, like I'm just going purely stat-wise. I don't really take into account team success as to why a player should get in an over player. Because, yeah, Chris Paul's having a really good year. He's keeping them afloat. But there's a lot of other players around him that are, they're having really good years too. This is probably the first time I've actually seen OKC play team ball and not hero ball. But when it comes to all-star stuff, to me personally, I just rely on stats. Like, you're really big stats. Okay, so you're having a hell of a year. You're balling out. Go to the All-Star game. Show out. That's you deserve it because you're putting up the stats. You're having a good year. I don't really care about team success when it comes to the All-Star stuff. And that's just me, though.
And you know what? I kind of like that. I kind of like that approach because then you're both right? And it's hard to both be right in a topic in a debate, but you're both right. I think especially with the NBA, it is more about what have I done individually, and I should be there because it's an individual game. Right? It's an all-star exhibition game. But on the other hand, when you look at what it means to be an all-star, it really does embody everything that Sean is saying too, right? Chris Paul has made a tremendous difference in OKC, and his numbers are still there too. So I think now, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, Sean, so if I'm saying something that's wrong, please correct me. But I think what you're saying is that it's extra because of the team's success. His numbers are still there, if not on par with what he's always done, but he's leading the team as well.
Yes, and then on top of it, like Danny just said, this is the first time he's seen him play team ball except hero ball. Well, how much has to do with that? Because Chris Paul's there. I mean that, and like I said, I'm just using Chris Paul as the example. But realistically, if Devin Booker's going in, it would be over Russell Westbrook. That's who it would be in over. I don't think you're taking Chris Paul personally, but that's who I think you would be going after. But you said Nate's on the line too.
I believe so. Let's bring him on. Somebody from Jersey.
They're going to be Nate or Lou or Big Louie.
Yeah, it could be. Last two is 6'2",
It's Big Louie.
It's Big Lou. Sean, good.
It's Big Louie.
Man, this guy. We ain't heard from him. I'm surprised this guy's still alive, man. Hey, Lou, welcome to the show, man. You're on with the big three.
Well, I found you right. So you're on from 9 to 11 now, huh?
Yeah. Well, tonight we're going 9 to 11 because Sean and I are getting old. So we want to make sure
because you're getting old. Next month.
Yeah, pretty much, right. And we pretty much just want to make sure we're charged and rested for the Super Bowl tomorrow. To be honest with
you. Right. Well, I'm getting charged up, and I got my predictions all set, and I can guarantee this right now.
All right.
You will not see a repeat of last year's super blunder.
As far as what do you mean super blunder? Elaborate on that. I'm not.
Well, it was a dud last year. I mean,
okay.
No offense really. It was mostly all defense. You won't see that this time.
What's wrong?
What happens if we do though? What happens if we do? I mean,
think it's going to be that?
No. I personally agree with you, but I have to run a show here, so I have to ask you what happens if we do. You know what I mean?
If it is a low scoring game?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I doubt that. With two high octane quarterbacks, I don't think you'll see that.
Do we have two high octane quarterbacks though? I mean, I know we got one, but do we have two? I mean, the other guy only threw 8 passes in the NFC Championship game. Is he really high octane?
Didn't another quarterback get blasted for only throwing 8 passes in a win earlier in the
playoffs? Wouldn't that now, Lou? I'm just asking you, and I'm asking everybody else that's listening and watching into a studio. But I understand the running game is working, and you stick with works. But wouldn't that be the true definition of what y'all like to tell me as a game manager?
Quite literally, right? You don't do anything. You just 8 times.
For y'all don't know. It's been a while since Sean and I have been together.
It has been a while. And it's been a minute.
For y'all don't understand our format. We're a little fired up tonight, so don't take it personal.
Right.
Is this how we get down on 8?
Listen, I got a question real quick because I don't. Lou, you came in red hot with this Super Bowl talk. You heard us talking basketball. How you gonna come in here and just completely 180 the topic on it? We were talking
Get him.
basketball. I was in a happy place talking about the NBA, and you come in here spinning on me completely. I'm not ready for the Super Bowl yet. We're ending the show with the Super Bowl.
That's what he does. That's what he does. We love
Sorry.
it. We love
You're good, Lou. I'm just messing with you, man. But I gotta ask
It
you,
wouldn't be you.
since I got you, do you
It
have
wouldn't be you. if you didn't have-
while we got you, do you have any all-star snubs that you want to talk about for the NBA?
Well, there was one that was left off. I was looking over my notes yesterday.
I love this.
Let me see if I can find it. But for the most part, yeah, I had no problems with the all-stars. But like you said, that it's pretty much exhibition game, and there's no defense involved here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's basically just for fun.
Right.
But I'm not so crazy about this new format they're going with. I mean, that's
Okay.
kind of ridiculous. Well,
Okay. Okay.
So I want to jump into this now because I don't think we're going to get to it. And I got to say the name because it's going to irk my soul. And I want to see this feed to my right just go a little bit wild like it did when I talked about what did it go wild?
Oh, wait.
When I said Deshaun Watson wasn't a top 5 quarterback, right? But hold on.
Go ahead, Lou. We're
Good, Lou.
gonna come back to what I just said. But go ahead, Lou. Finish your
I think
thought.
Bradley Beal should have been selected.
There we go, Lou. My man, Bradley Bill. That's what I say. But as Sean has said earlier, and you were on, so you heard him. If you put Bradley Bill in, who comes out?
Yeah, that's always the hard part, and that will probably lead to more controversy as well.
Just pick a name, any name. But any name besides Ben Simmons. That's the only name you're not allowed to pick.
No, I'll go easy. I'll go easy on Ben.
Say
Simmons.
Trae Young.
Yeah, I don't want Young anyway.
That's funny.
We need to stop picking on Danny.
I don't want Young.
I'm about to. I'm about to.
I really don't.
All right, I'm going in now. Lou, I gave you a chance. You should replace him with Kyle Lowry. That's who you should replace him with. I'm going in now.
Yeah.
So listen, last time I had this feed blow up was when I said Deshaun Watson. I don't think Deshaun Watson's the top 5 quarterback. I even had LaDonna call in to tell me that I was wrong until they found out I was right. Whole different story. Anyway, Trae Young should not have been a starter. Period. The end. I don't care what the NBA fans want to tell you. Trae Young should not have been a starter for the NBA East All-Star team. Plain and simple. You could have put any other player in there except Trae Young. I don't want to sit here and talk about his numbers because when a guy, last time I checked, there's two sides of the ball, right? You play offense and you play defense. You're not going to sit here and tell me all day that, and you know what? I'm going to be a little homer here too, and I don't even care. You're not going to sit here and tell me that Ben Simmons shouldn't have been the starter when he's probably the best point. He's going to be first team all defense this year, averaging 17 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. But Trae Young scores 29 and averages 8 assists, plays 0 defense. But he gets all-star selection because he's really good at offense. This is why the fan vote is stupid. Bradley Beal should be a starter over Trae Young. Now, I'm not saying Trae Young should not have made the team because that would be kind of mean, right? But he should have made the team. He should have made the team. He could be an all-star. He should not. I know it. Should he? I don't know if he even should have been an all-star. What makes me believe that he's nothing more than a volume scorer on a bad team? How many wins do the Atlanta Hawks have? Anybody know?
I knew you were going to come back to that when that was brought up earlier.
But this is my point. Like, why do we keep rewarding volume scorers on bad teams? Why? I'm asking genuinely because I don't understand it. His team is tied for last place in the entire NBA. He is literally doing nothing to make Atlanta any better than they were last year. Because he scores a lot, that automatically makes him one of the best players in the league. Because that's what an all-star is, right? That's solidifying you as one of the best players in the league, correct? And this is why the NBA fans should not get to vote on the NBA All-Star game. For this exact reason. Because there's no such thing as a smart NBA fan when they have Google in front of them.
Danny.
Let me ask you something.
Oh yeah, there we go.
What is he supposed to do to make a team better? This is the argument I never understood. Is you have a young talent like Trae Young, and people want him to make the team better, but what is he supposed to do? The kid had almost 20 assists the other night.
I mean,
what more do you want him to do? I understand the defensive side of the ball.
that's exactly.
I'll give you that.
I
But
want to
he has a lot of points. He's one of the best assisters in the game.
Say that part again. I didn't hear you.
He is putting up a lot of points. He's one of the better assist men in the game.
But and I understand on your viewpoint that he doesn't play defense. He can work on that. But to sit there and say that, he's just a volume shooter and he's not making the team better, how is he supposed to make the team better when he's doing everything he can besides defense? He's putting up points. He's getting all his teammates involved. At some point, you've got to realize that it comes down to maybe crappy coaching and maybe the players around him just aren't that good.
See, I don't think it's coaching. And again, I'm saying he hasn't made the team any better from last year. If anything, if I'm correct in saying this, isn't Atlanta worse this year at this point in the season than they were last year?
Yes,
So did they not take a step back?
they are.
Yeah, but even if they took a step back, though, how does that fall on him? Like, why does he get singled out?
Well, the same reason that every all-star and every team.
To me,
Right. That's what I'm asking. Why is he the one that...
I mean, because to me, that kind of sounds like the quarterback argument that we always talk about.
But again, if
how the quarterback gets the blame and the glory, right? But I mean, if he's doing all he can, right? If he's still scoring at the level that he's scoring, and he's assisting, he's doing his part to make them better. So if they're not getting better, why is it just him? I guess is what I'm asking.
Because he's not doing everything he can to make them better. If he's only playing one side of the ball, this is the same thing that we get on James Harden about. This is the same thing I say about Luka. This is the same thing I say about a bunch of players in the league. I don't consider you great players or top tier players in the league if you're only going to play one side of the ball. There's two sides of the ball.
Saying that he only plays one side of the ball is because he's more dominant on one side of the ball than the other. Doesn't mean that he's not giving all he can and doing all he can on defense. He just may be a horrible defender. See, because I say that to you all the time about James Harden, and you always come back to me, well, he's top of the league in steals. He's this and that, but he can't defend. Right? There's only a few true defenders in the NBA, right? There's only a few true guys who are willing to really defend. You made a good point about it in the Laker game last week about how LeBron kept switching off to take the easier matchup on defense, right? And you were spot on with that, right? So I mean, I get what you're saying. And I mean, if you're saying that the NBA starters shouldn't be based off total fan vote, I would agree there, right? Because he got voted as a starter, but I don't think that he should be a starter over Benson, right? I just don't. I just don't
feel either. I'm not saying Ben Simmons. I'm saying
what
any guard like Jimmy Butler, he should have been a starter.
Nah, I can't see that, man. Jimmy is not having. I don't even know if he should have been an all-star.
But Jimmy gets
with the numbers that he's putting up.
Jimmy's putting up 20.
I mean, listen.
Jimmy's going 26-6 right now, and he's going to be a first team all defense again.
I don't know, Sean. I mean, I hear you, but I'm kind of there because the argument could be said, right? This is me just playing devil's advocate and keeping this conversation going, right? So taking what you said, right? Let's apply that to Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons isn't doing all he can do to make the Sixers better.
You're right,
and they're worse off this year at this point than they were last year, right?
No.
So if yes, they are. They don't. They had a better record this point last year, didn't they?
No, they did not.
You sure?
If you,
I can't hear you.
I think they were in the top 3 last year.
Yeah, They were pretty much the top
Yeah.
three.
Now?
Yeah, I think they were a little bit better last year.
No, they were not. They weren't the top three until the end of the year last year. They were
Okay.
They were
All right, fair
they
enough.
were last year. I think they're doing
They
actually
weren't.
year record
They
wise.
weren't.
Record. They were the 5th seed with the
They
Indiana
were,
and
Yep,
and
yep,
some-
yep,
and,
yep.
they had a
You're
jump
absolutely right. They didn't go on that run until a little bit later. Yep.
season.
So, but what I'm saying is, what you said could be applied to Ben Simmons, and then that could still put the argument that Trae Young is rightfully starting.
Okay,
Right.
and
I mean, the big thing is he doesn't have a jump shot. He's not shooting. So like you're sacrificing. He's sacrificing his offensive abilities to go play defense. Whereas you make the argument. It's basically the same argument, just in reverse between him and Trae Young.
Kind of.
I don't think he's
Right.
sacrificing everything on defense.
Right.
On offense.
I don't think he's sacrificing on offense either, because he is developing a serious mid-range and a low post game, right? And his free throws are getting better. And I just don't know if the kid can't shoot or he won't shoot. So for me, when people say that he can't shoot, do we really know if he can shoot? And I mean that in all sincerity, right?
No.
Because he doesn't shoot.
Okay, that's a good point though.
Yeah.
That's a good point though. If he doesn't shoot, then he is sacrificing some talent.
There
on
it
the
is.
offensive side.
There it is.
He's choosing not to. He's choosing not to do that.
You're right.
And
You're
that
right.
hurts your team.
And that's exactly right. And that's where it comes in. And then where he hurts the team is when it comes crunch time and when it comes to playoff time, because it's been said that they're playing with 4.5 players. John, we know that, right? I mean, we live it, right? We see it. Right?
4.5.
Yeah.
Where you get the half?
Because he doesn't do anything offensively.
It's 3'5".
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he's going to give you everything. But
the funny part is you can't take him out though because he's so good on defense. So
you cannot. You're absolutely right.
You can't take him out because he's going to guard the best player on the other team.
Absolutely, he can defend 1 through 5. And what has impressed me the most about him this year though is what he did when Embiid was just out. Right,
24 points a night.
But he played center some of those games. Right.
Well, they're
played
taking,
5.
They're taking the ball handler responsibility. They're reducing it from him. So if you watch today, just for instance, a little bit, Shake Milton started, and he was bringing up the ball most of the first quarter. So they're only going to get. I think Ben's going to bring up the ball more in a fast-paced situation, and for the rest of the game, it's either going to be Shake or Raul Neto. Because they were saying,
that makes sense.
If you guys ever notice, whenever Ben has the ball, when Ben brings up the ball and he passes it, he just goes, picks a corner and stands. When Ben doesn't have the ball, he's flashing to the basket nonstop. And for all you young listeners out there that want to learn about basketball in any form of the way, if you don't have the ball in your hand, that does not mean you're not part of the play. You move without the ball at all times. Whether you're setting screens for somebody else, you're crossing courts all the time. Always move without the ball. And Neto does not need to go. I'm gonna guess because I only see Facebook user. This is my brother commenting, right?
Yeah.
Best record.
You know what it is. You know.
Oh my God, Neto does not need to go. Oh my God. Yeah.
So what Brian Jones is saying, if Trae doesn't do what he does, they'd be even worse. He doesn't have any real or game changing talent around him.
I disagree. I disagree. I think Atlanta has a really good young team.
But what game-changing talent do they have around him besides him, though? Seriously.
Yeah. John Collison.
I'm not the
John Collison is a very good young player.
Is he a game-changing?
He could totally be a game-changing talent.
He can be, but is he? It's not can he be, it's is he. Like we're addressing the comment. They don't have any real or game-changing talent around. So let me ask you this. So And
John Collins is out for a lot of games this season.
Yeah, too. I'm asking this specifically to Brian, Sean, and Danny. Did the Hawks win the trade that they made between Luka and Trae Young?
You can see me. They can't see me, and everybody's gonna know my answer already. I mean, come on now. There's no way. There's no way I could. There's no way. I mean, listen, I'm of the ill to think that it worked out for both teams, and I'll let people believe that all they want. But Luca's Luca, dude, Luca's at a whole new level. Luca's raised.
So if Luca is on Atlanta, are they any better than what they are right now?
Yes, and it's
how much better?
And 95% of it is because he's 5 inches taller than Trae Young.
Okay, so if Trae Young is playing with Dallas, is Dallas as good as they are right now?
No.
I think I'm gonna disagree.
I think Atlanta with Luka would be a little bit better, but I don't think they'd be a whole lot better. Like, I don't think they'd be making the playoffs with Luka.
Right.
And if they do, they're sneaking into the 8th seed. That's like a last day of the final season.
I think they'd be marginally better, and I think Dallas would have a better shot at being where they are right now with the talent they have, because Dallas has other game-changing talent around Luka. I know Luka's the man. I get it. I've watched him play. I see how good he is. I get it, but he also has a lot of other people around to help him too. And the dude has no position, which kills me. Right? Dude can just do it all.
And that's why.
But I don't know how good of a defender he is. But I know he gives effort.
But
he gives effort.
Yeah, if you think so. I mean, I think he.
Well, again, right? There's not a lot of really good defenders, but he's gonna try though. He's kind of like Dirk, right? Dirk couldn't defend to save his life, but Dirk tried.
But Dirk was also 7 foot, so that helped him defend a lot of guys. That's kind of what helps Luka. Luka's 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you know how I feel about me. You know how I feel about Dirk. I think he's. I don't think he gets enough credit.
I think he should have been a Sixer. That's a different story.
I would love to see that. Yeah, that's where that is. So man. So Brian Jones is he agrees with us. He says Luka would be Trae Young in Atlanta now. Dallas would be the same. Dallas has way better talent in coaching than Atlanta. So you're taking an elder. You're definitely in the minority here. Honestly.
I usually am. It's fine. No, but I can't say Luka would be the Trae in Atlanta. That Luka would be Trae in Atlanta now because Luka is 6 inches taller, and that means you can have Jeff Teague start for you, and you can have Luka starting at the 3. So that'll right there alone makes your starting offense better.
Yeah, it's definitely a good debate and a good question, and I'm surprised that no one's ever brought it up. And like you don't even see that pop up in our group at all. You know what I mean?
I can't exactly remember. I know Brian probably remembers better than me. What exactly did Atlanta get when they moved up? Like what exactly was the trade? Atlanta moved up to get Trae, right?
I thought it was the other way around.
No.
I thought Dallas moved up to take
Dallas drafted Luka, and then
Atlanta drafted Luka.
Drafted Trae, and then they just
Atlanta drafted Luka.
Luka,
and then Dallas drafted.
Yeah, and then I think they just traded the players.
I think they did. Yeah, I think they just traded the players.
There's no way they just traded them. There's no way they just traded the players. There has to be more involved in that.
Yeah, but I thought Luka got drafted first though.
I think you're right. I think he got drafted first, and then Dallas took Trae.
Yeah.
Then they traded, and I think there's probably some picks involved.
Yeah, there definitely had to be
like later round picks.
There's no way there's be like, we just drafted this player that we could have drafted. You want to trade?
Yeah. No, you're right about that. There's no way that this. Yeah, you're right.
No. It wasn't like that.
Boston's still up. Huh?
So I'm trying to look this up. Yeah, I'm curious.
Great question.
It was swapping players.
And Atlanta gave them another first-round pick.
So that would mean that
that
would mean that Atlanta traded for Trae Young.
Yes, that's the way it went.
Yeah, that means Atlanta traded for Trae Young.
Well, actually, I think. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought it was Dallas.
I knew I got
No, but
that
I always
right.
thut Dallas.
I knew I got that. I knew I got that right. So when is that first round pick? Was that first round pick for last year or for this year?
Great question.
Because you guys keep saying he has nobody to compliment him. It doesn't help that you just traded your first round pick away, so you lose your first round pick either this year or last year. I mean, you're going to be the worst team in the league this year, and you're giving that pick to Dallas. Or if it was last year, you're one of the worst pick teams in the league, and you gave that pick to Dallas. You could have. And I disagree that his height would mean nothing, Brian Jones. The height means a lot in the NBA. I mean, that's why there's not a lot of 6 foot guys playing it. He would be getting. You're not also including that he wouldn't be playing the point guard position, so you would be starting Jeff Teague instead at the point guard position. That inherently makes your entire starting offense better.
Yeah. See, no, the Dallas traded. That's what Dallas traded for Luka. That's what I thought. That's what I thought it was. So Dallas sent their 20. They sent the rights to Trae Young to the Hawks. You know what? See, I think it was a player. Let me see if I can get all the details. But yeah, Dallas initiated the trade. That's how I remember. Because Mark wanted
with your city.
Here we go. 2008. So Luka, they swapped the number 5 pick with the Atlanta Hawks for the number 3 pick, while also sending a 2019 first round pick to the Hawks. So Dallas initiated the trade.
So Dallas, Dallas gave Atlanta a first rounder.
Yeah, last year, 2019. Yep,
and that pick was Cam Reddish.
That is correct.
Interesting.
I'm glad we can settle that up. Got another caller on the line. Last 43210. Welcome to Hodgepodge Sports Show.
What up, Pat? How you doing, brother? What up, Sean?
What's going on, man?
Yo, what's up, man?
This is Big Nate. Nate, how's everybody doing?
Everybody's doing well, fam. How about yourself?
Live from Atlanta, Georgia.
Live from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yo, Nate,
I'm
I got a
doing.
question for you. Have the Falcons won that Super Bowl trophy yet, or no?
Oh my God! Why are you getting him started, man? Why are you getting him started?
No.
Why are you getting him started, man?
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? In my business that I have, 2 of my business partners are Falcons fans.
Sorry.
So they try to give me hell every week about my Cowboys. So that I just tell them, I say, hey, I can go to Tampa Bay and I can go to New Orleans to find Lombardi Trophy. Why can't I go to Mercedes-Benz Stadium and do it?
See, there we go.
And then I tell them very pleasantly that their team sucks. You know what I mean? And the reason why their team sucks is because, their stadium is made out of used tampons and maxi pads. That's why it stinks over there too. You know what I mean?
And the
I'm just saying.
You had to get him started, man. You
I'm happy I
had
got
to get him started.
I enjoy this part of the
You know
night.
what? We need to do, right? This is what we're gonna do. I don't know if our boys are listening, but Dex, Dre.
Ooh, that's right.
Oh yeah, y'all need to. I think Brian's on the ATL too. I'm gonna need y'all to come on. And I'm gonna need y'all to introduce Nate to these skippity paps y'all be talking about, right? He's a Jersey boy, but he lives down in Atlanta. I'm gonna need y'all to come on one night, and we gonna get everybody on the screen. We can fit like what? 1, 2,
6,
3, 4, 5, 6. We can feel like oh no, don't say that. Don't say.
I've been to the game. I've been to the game. I went to a Ravens Falcons game.
Oh my gosh.
And there are more Ravens fans in the stadium than Atlanta fans. Their mayor, Keisha Lance Bottom, did not want to go to that game to ring the daggone bell. You know what I mean? To introduce the Falcons. That's how much they suck. They suck so bad that they got rid of their best quarterback just to have a suckier quarterback. Matt Ryan, they got rid of Mohamed Sanu. And everybody knows Mohamed is a better quarterback than Matt Ryan. Yeah, I said it. That's how much they suck.
Don't call me my Philly boy like that. I'll protect Matt Ryan. You leave him alone.
What professional team is here? They don't have love for their professional team. Until they show me something different, I'm going to keep saying it. When the Braves, they don't go to, what's it now, Truist Stadium, whatever. No longer SunTrust Stadium because it got bought out. I think it's now Truist Stadium or something like that. But it's another way of saying the Braves suck. You know what I mean? And the Yankees own them. Plain and simple. So, you know what I mean?
Nate,
agree with me on it.
Nate.
Oh my God.
Nate, what's funny about this is like Patrick knows how I feel about Atlanta fans. I can't remember the dude's name, but I bullied him so much on Atlanta and their horrible fan base that he literally left the group because of me. And I'm actually a little proud moment of my life, But yeah, Atlanta fans straight up couldn't care less about the professional sports teams. I say it all the time. Atlanta's always been considered one of the worst sports teams, or not sports teams, sports fan bases. That's what I was looking for. One of the worst sports fan bases for professional sports. They love their college teams. They go Georgia Bulldogs deep, but for whatever reason, if you're not a soccer team, if you're not their soccer team, they don't respect you.
United will no longer be Atlanta United. I promise you that. They had a hockey team when I first moved down here. Where are the Thrashers now? Anybody know? I don't know.
Nah, the excuse I got for that was why would they bring a hockey team to a hot weather climate? I was like, are you serious? LA, Tampa Bay.
Here we go. Listen, I knew they was listening, man. They talking back to you because they watching on a YouTube channel. They're gonna come for you, Nate. I'm telling you right now. Them boys is loading up right now. They coming. They told you to put the needle down. You see the comment, Sean?
That dude on heroin.
Yo, I can't wait.
On the interstate,
I can't wait for them boys to
drive
get on
through
here.
it.
Oh
Why?
my
Because you guys
gosh.
team suck.
I need to
That's
get them
why.
on. I need to get them on the live stream. They need to
said
come
it.
on in here. Oh my
I can get in
God.
and out of New York City or Philadelphia
That
faster
dude-
than I can get. Why? Because all your teams
He says, yeah. And see, you started this nonsense, Sean. It's all your
and there
fault.
are more
That's
people
my
in those
fault.
towns.
I can't be blamed.
No heart. Stop it.
They gonna want all the smoke. See, I love when this happens to the show. There's nothing better than when the show gets derailed like this, because I mean, in the end, I'm always the one that's laughing, so I enjoy it.
Yo, it's the best. It's the best. But I need these dudes to come on in, man, because this is going. We might be here all night. Yo, man, Mike, Dre, Dex, y'all need to come over here and stand up for your city, man. He is just going off on his.
They don't want it.
He's telling y'all don't want this smoke. Y'all gonna let this happen on our own network, man? Come on now, y'all need to stand up. I mean, we might have to pay Red Cup Rampage Tuesday nights. What we have to do, Sean? You might have to come in there and see what's going on. Give me that, man. Mike coming. Yeah. Oh no, they're coming.
Oh, he's like, give me.
He's coming. He's coming.
Just remember, he said that your stadium smelled like used tampons.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Danny. Man, we might as well buckle up, man. Hey, Danny, Lou, we might as well get a bucket of popcorn and sit back and watch it, because, man, look here. This is going to be crazy.
I mean, somebody's.
But is there anything else you want to talk about before these guys do battle, man?
We got 40 minutes. We got to hit Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, let's hit the Super Bowl. I'm going to tell you right now, man, I'm going with the Chiefs in the close one, man. 31-28 Kansas
I agree
City.
with that.
Ah, do you hear that? Skibbity paps. I heard it. 404, last 4, 1060.
Man, who is this clown? Who is this clown, man? You got these clowns on your show. You afraid of the
What are
truth?
you basing this?
You afraid of
What
the
are you
truth?
basing this on? You basing on this
Me
dumbass
being
opinion?
down here and actually going to your event. That's what. You're welcome.
Your
I'm
event?
helping out your
What that got
economy.
to do
You
with
know,
the
the
truth?
Atlanta Braves are no
What
longer
that got to
playing.
do
They
with
should
the
be the
truth?
Cobb County Braves. Plain and simple.
What that got to do with the truth? What that got to do with the
That
truth?
is the truth. Go
What's
to a
the
game.
truth?
You
That
know
our
exactly
fans
what I'm
suck?
talking about.
What our fans
What?
suck? What that got to do with Matt Ryan? What did that have to do with Matt Ryan?
Matt Ryan does stuff.
Right, you
Stop it. That's why
Matt
you
Ryan
want the Super Bowl. Hashtag
you already
2018.
know. You already know the guy playing for 50,000 yards in his
They put
career.
their trust in that man and they won the Lombardi Trophy.
And guess what?
Lombardi
The
Trophy.
same guy
You can't
has a
stop.
Super Bowl
Baltimore
appearance,
got one.
and he
New
has
Orleans got
two
one. Tampa Bay
NFC
got one.
championships. All right?
Where is your Lombardi champion?
NFC
That means
championship.
nothing. All that
Yo,
says is that you got
It's like just two
with the
disagreeing
Bronx,
with each other.
you can't go with the penis in your hand. That's all that tells
All
me.
right.
Plain simple. You ain't score.
All right. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you
Go home
this.
and make love to the prom queen. Stop it.
Let me ask you this.
You are.
Let me ask
You are
you
the
this.
first
Let me
loser.
ask you this.
Plain and simple.
Let me-
In the NFL eyes, you're the first
All right,
loser.
it's the first loser that's not being there at all. Not being that motherfucker
Hey,
at all.
no,
I'd rather
no.
be there and touch the pussy at least.
No.
Motherfucking pussy.
I got five in Arlington. Even Philadelphia's got one. Stop it.
Look,
New York, the New York Giants
Why,
got one.
why is Philly getting
You
brought up?
started it. It's your fault.
They still got
You talking
They
about
still
Eli
got
Manning? You putting out
They
Matt
still
Ryan for Eli
got
Manning
Nick Foles.
and Daniel
Hey.
Jones? Bro, when the
Hey.
last time y'all was relevant? When's the last time they were even relevant?
We're always relevant. Being America's team. That's what we
Why?
do.
Because you knew everybody was the state. Y'all was crowned by what? Media. It had nothing to do with the team. Y'all crowned because of the media, not because y'all good.
Hey, it is what it is. Don't be upset
No.
because you're an American team.
If you want to
You're
get
just
down
angry
to
because you got satisfaction and your team sucks. Plain and
Wait.
simple.
What was your hold on. What was your record again? What was the record again?
We got 5 trophies. That's the record you need to know about. That's what relevant right now. Right?
You want to talk about the lucky catch? Oh, you want to talk about that? Oh, you want to talk about what happened to Marcus Strahan in 1980? You want to talk about that? You want to talk about what
The funny part is he's not a Giants fan, and he's not a Giants fan. He keeps bringing up the Giants.
Because he's from New Jersey.
They don't understand. He's a Cowboys fan.
I even asked Arthur Blank when I was at his last event last
you ain't
week.
even making no damn sense. You ain't making no sense. You running on your own damn road.
I did ask him that question. I said, hey, where's the Lombardi Trophy going to be kept? He says, we don't know yet. We got to win
Your
one.
mama house with that dumb ass shit.
Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy, man. I love it.
Hold on, everybody. Can we clear something up real quick? Because Nate, hold up, Mike, real quick, just to be fair. Just to be fair, getting that word in here. As
You
well.
can't get in. You can't get in, bro. Just let it happen. Just let it take a life of its own.
I mean,
Tell me what's going on. I can go to Dallas. What happened? And win or lose. I can go to Philadelphia. They just okay, we're not talking about that. We're talking about this Friday thing. We're talking about this Friday thing. What did they do lately? They still have a full.
But they fucking suck. What good is a team that sucks? All right.
I don't know. You tell me. What good was that? What good is a team Falcons was? So you telling me is that why your Thrashers left? Because your team sucks? That team sucks? So we're expecting the Falcons to leave
because they had nothing to do. If you know your facts about hockey, that had nothing to do with actual fans coming to the game. People actually came to the game. Gary Bettman decided that wasn't enough for him to keep the team playing. So there was a number of things, not just solely that. So if you want to talk about shit, you want to get fans to
support. Stop. I go by. I'm telling you by observation when I go to these games. I'm not just talking out of my ass. I actually pay money to go to
What
the
does
stadium.
that got to do with what does that have to do with
Everything. Because you don't have because you don't have a comeback for what I'm telling you. I'm speaking truth, and you know it.
You
And
speaking
every
truth about
fan out
fan
here
base?
in
You're
Atlanta
talking about
knows
something
what I'm
that got
talking
nothing to
about.
do with
Not
football.
got no
What
heart
does that got to do
whatsoever.
with football? I called in
You
here
got
to talk to
everything
you
to do with
about
football. That's why your team sucks. That's why Julio Jones
because our
watch
fans
the ball
not coming to
24/7.
the game. I guess that's why Cleveland still sucks because they fans go to every single game, but they still suck. But what the hell does that got to do with football? So if you want to talk about football, you want to talk about the fans.
Let's talk about both.
You want to
Because
talk
it
about
correlates.
football, you want to talk about the fans.
They talk about both.
I want to know. Can you tell me
Let's
that?
talk about
So
both.
let's talk about your knowledge, bro. Let's talk about your
I was
knowledge.
asked
You
a
want to talk about
question.
that?
I was asked a question about the fan base out here, and I spoke truth
Look,
about
no,
the
you
fan
did.
base out
I
here.
thought- look, I
I
was
did
watching-
too.
I was watching the show. Said something about Matt Ryan took it. So let's get down to the facts.
He does
Why
suck.
Matt Ryan took
He's the reason why you guys lost the Super Bowl, is it not?
it? He's the reason why.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Clearly,
Tell me I'm wrong. He tried to throw the ball downfield, and he shouldn't have.
clearly,
He shouldn't have thrown the ball downfield. If you were true fan, or you actually
Yeah, what are they talking about?
throw it to the Patriots that game, when you're not. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. You should have just ran the ball. All you had to do was just run the ball, though, right? But y'all decided to try to make Matt Ryan the golden hero. The man sucks, man. No, I am making sense. He is not the man for you to throw the ball downfield. You know that.
But you want to talk about sports, you want to talk about the truth and the facts of the matter?
That is the fact of the matter. Matt Ryan messed up that game for y'all. Y'all should have had a trophy like
Look at
this.
this fact, man. I don't know what you saw Matt Ryan.
That don't mean nothing until you have a Super Bowl trophy. That means nothing until you have a Super Bowl trophy.
Oh, this was
All
fun.
right, so-
This is fun. Actually, can we end this?
I love Tony Romo.
So let's do this. Let's do this, fellas.
Okay, tell me what happened
Hold
in the
on.
last series of that game.
Hold on, Nate.
Was he able to punch
Just
it down
mute
the
them.
field so
Just
y'all
mute
can
them
get a
both. They'll stop talking.
Hold on, Nate.
no?
Hold on, Nate. You got to let him. You got to let Mike respond, Nate. You got to let him respond.
Oh, he don't want
No, Mike, go ahead. We going.
Got to mediate.
We gotta-
it. Want these problems.
Got to mediate it a little bit. This has just been two guys yelling for 5 minutes now.
Okay, so what he's saying is that Matt Ryan lost all the Super Bowl. The last drive of the game.
Our fan base sucks. Yeah.
Well, no. Now, what he's saying when you ask about Matt Ryan, that Matt Ryan lost the Super Bowl game for you, and he wasn't able to push the ball down the field the last drive. Now, you got the floor, so we're going to let you respond.
But he did.
I mean,
So everybody has YouTube, right? They can go and watch the game themselves. Tell me how that Matt Ryan, like anyone, if you truly believe in your heart that Matt Ryan throwing that game,
Oh, Dexter.
tell me where and when did he do that?
all right. Now, I'm going to bring him on and let him respond back to that. I'm going to put you on mute for a sec so y'all can have this debate. So, Nate, did you hear what Mike said? Mike said
Yes, sir.
he would like for you to specifically.
I did.
Well, I know, but y'all were talking over one another, and I don't know if either one of you could hear what you were saying. He's like, if you watch the game, rewatch the game, that
Yeah,
you can't say that it's on Matt Ryan that they lost it. And I'm kind of in agreement with that. I'm kind of in agreement with that. I don't think it was on Matt Ryan that they lost that game.
The coach.
No, but the problem was that the coach put the faith in Matt Ryan, knowing that he couldn't make the big play that was needed at the end of that game. And all they had to do was run the ball.
But they did run the ball, and they got a holding call. So how's that
You
Matt
agree with
Ryan's
that?
fault, though?
No,
Yeah.
they didn't run the ball. They tried. That was in the when it was second down of that game. Of that play, they should have ran a play back. He had two guys sitting there waiting. They tried to run a play action, and when he threw the ball, it was incomplete.
They gave up on the run like the entire second half once they went up 28-3, and they lost that game because the coaching was bad.
And do what he does best.
See,
right?
See, I don't
Now,
remember.
I'm saying that my thing is that this. your defense didn't play well, right? But they were still saying from what everybody was saying was that Matt Ryan was his Golden State. That's why he had the huge contract, right? Paid him what, $142 million, something like that, on the largest contract in the NFL, right?
All right.
And so because of that, that means their golden boy, who was worth $142 million, should have won that game. Based off of all the Atlanta fans that have been talking to me and talking back about my Cowboys, that's when I put him on his shoulders.
See, I disagree there.
And he has failed completely at that.
Okay. And then
I
Sean,
gotta put it on at the leader of that team. I gotta put it on him.
Okay.
Plain and simple.
So Sean,
and Tony Romo couldn't get the when they had that no catch
right
against Green Bay, right?
Right.
They still put it on Tony Romo's shoulders, even though he has incredible stats, right? So I'm gonna put everybody on that same level. Everybody's on that same level.
All right.
You're gonna come at me about my Cowboys and anything else like that? I'm putting everybody on that same level, no matter if it's defensive fault, right? Because we all know the Dallas defense didn't play well that game.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay. And then Sean, you're saying that Atlanta abandoned the run in that Super Bowl game?
If I remember it rightly, and I'm sure Mike will let me know if I'm right, but if I remember right, they completely abandoned the run up until that last drive. The way they got to that giant lead was because they were running the ball consistently. They had a nice balance. Then for whatever reason, they got that big lead and just started throwing it and completely abandoned the run altogether. So that to me, that's on play calling. That's not on Matt Ryan at all. I don't put that loss on him even a little bit.
That's where I'm going, guys. That's the question that I have for you guys. Like we put so much pressure and we give quarterbacks so much credit for what a team. You can't win a game without the proper coaching. You can't win a game without the proper pressure applied by the defense and getting stops and secondary, the linebackers, everyone working in unison. It can't work together. You can't win any Super Bowl. So the fact of the matter is when you look at the Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl loss, the Atlanta Falcons did not lose because of one particular person or one particular side of the ball. Defensively, they couldn't get the job done. Offensively, they didn't finish it. Coaching, everything failed. So when people say that Matt Ryan is the reason why, people say, even Tony Romo, I say this with even Tony Romo this year, and Boom and the Don, they actually kind of got mad with me when I said that the Dallas Cowboys actually have a Super Bowl contender. And I fully believe why? It's because you have to have three elements of football to win a championship: offense, defense, running game. Right? You have to have that. They did not have coaching. Their coaching let that team down.
Yep.
So if you don't have all elements of a football team, it doesn't matter how great your quarterback is. Look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady was not the sole reason for the championship. You look at the championship where Malcolm Butler, what happened?
Yeah.
He got the interception on the goal line. And you got all the credit for that. Tom freaking Brady.
Now you're right.
All the credit for that. And this is why I say stop putting all the pressure on one particular person. Stop giving all the credit to one particular guy. Because winning a championship is all about team. Doesn't matter how great of a player that you have. Look at the Rams. Look at the Rams, what they have. They have an absolute monster. Nobody can do nothing with this dude. They can't do anything with him. But guess what? They can't finish it because they don't have a team that works well together. It's all about chemistry.
I agree. Mike, I got a question for
bring up
you.
a very good point there. And I can't, I'll come back to you, Sean. I can't disagree there because 2 years ago, when the Eagles won it, that was the big reason why they won. And it's kind of funny that we can sit here, we can come to that agreement, but when that happened, Doug Peterson wasn't getting a lot of credit from the media for the job that he did coaching that team.
Absolutely.
He got more credit. Yeah, he got more credit this year for coaching 2 practice squad players than he did for getting that team up off the mat and riding them to one of the best second halves that we've seen in a long time, all the way to the playoffs, to the Super Bowl with their backup quarterback, right? We haven't seen a coaching job like that in how long, right? So long that we can't even call it out, right? I think that you're absolutely right when you say that you have to have all these elements. And then we talked about this earlier. I don't know if you guys were caught that part, but Sean and I had talked about that when we were talking about the NBA, about players. You know, why does one player get much credit? And I made that comment. It was like, we do that all the time with quarterback, right? And I understand what Nate's saying, right? Because everybody always blames the quarterback. So that's the avenue he's taking. And I like what you said there too. Sean, what were you about to say?
I do too. Well, no, I got to say something about Dougie P. You know, he got completely cheated out of that about coaching that year. Completely cheated by a guy that is not even by a guy that can't even hold his jock strap in LA. Besides the point. My question to Mike was. My question to Mike was, I want to just make sure I got my facts right on that Super Bowl. I'm correct in saying that they completely abandoned the run, right? Like in the second half of that game, they just decided to, for whatever reason, they weren't going to run Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman anymore.
You hear the question, Mike?
No, I didn't.
Sean was asking you if he was right in saying, did Atlanta abandon a run in the second half? He's like, he feels like they didn't run Freeman and Coleman enough. So he's asking, is that right? You know, is that the way that it went down?
Actually, when I look, like I said, I go back and I look at film from like my guy. We do a ton of research. We go back years and kind of look at each team, the coach, and their habits and whatnot. And it's actually not true that the Falcons abandoned the run. It's execution. They didn't execute. That was one of the reasons why Devontae Freeman was actually benched in the second half, because he, abandoned his assignment. He was supposed to hit the hole. He didn't hit the hole. He ended up, I believe it was the third quarter. He was tackled for a 3 or 4 yard loss, and was living, and he pretty much bent him. I think that's why you saw him on the sideline in favor of Kevin Coleman. Kevin Coleman sprained his ankle, and he was supposed to put Freeman back in the game. So it's actually not true that they abandoned the run, but the last series is where people had issues with Kyle Shanahan. And when you look at the entire year in its entirety, it seemed the Falcons' trend was down the 25-yard line to be more aggressive. And Shanahan did not abandon what he typically does. And that's why personally I've changed my tone on Kyle Shanahan, because at that point in time, you either have stick with what got you there, or you try to win it. And that's where a lot of fans have issues with Kyle Shanahan. Did he stick with what got him there, or should he abandon try to win? And that's where you kind of got to throw your hands up in the air. Like,
sure. Now, I like what you said there, and we'll hold on one second, Nate. And we'll take what you said there, because that's your team, and I know how much time you guys put in. So I'll ask you this question based off that. Do you think that Kyle Shanahan particularly has learned from that because of what he did in that NFC Championship game? Like, do you think that he, that was in the back of his mind, like, hey, listen, this is what I didn't do before. I'm not going to make that mistake this time.
I believe so, and then ultimately, in a loss for him this year against us, because he's stuck with it.
Sure.
The game against us this year, I thought he should have stayed on the pass more, but he run the ball, and hopefully, I have no ill will towards Kyle. He had a great run.
He sure did.
Two championships, man. I don't like. I said something
police all say some things, but when it comes down to it, man, Kyle Shanahan did the best. He made the right call, but it just didn't work.
Right.
Execution. That's what it all comes down to. Football is all about execution. You don't execute, doesn't matter what play you call. It's just the way it is. And yeah, I think he has learned from it. And we will see. Like I said, it all comes down to execution.
Nate, what were you about to say?
I'm gonna read the last two times the Falcons took the ball now. I had it sitting right here. All the plays. All right. It was 1st and 10 in Atlanta. Short pass to Devontae Freeman for 39 yards. Right. 1st and 10, Atlanta 49. Freeman ran for 2 yards. 2nd and 8. Deep pass to Julio Jones for 27 yards. All right. 1st and 10 at New England 22. It was a pass in the backfield for a -1 yard. 2nd and 11, Matt Ryan sack. 3rd and 23, short pass to Mohamed Sanu, penalty 10 yards. 3rd and 33, Matt Ryan pass incomplete, short left, and he punched. Right? Then New England scores a touchdown 10 plays later. Then we go down to get the ball back. Short pass to Mohamed Sanu for 12 yards. 3. 2nd and 6. Matt Ryan spikes the ball, stops the clock. 3rd and 6. Matt Ryan incomplete to Cooper. 4th and 6. They had to punt the ball from the 27. Now the last time just. You're saying that that's a execution problem. I will give you that, but the person throwing the ball, I'm looking at that 3rd and 6 shotgun pass while they were at their own 27, and I'm looking at the other play there. And it was incomplete at the 3rd and 33. You know, part of it is definitely the holding part. He definitely has them back. I think that was the one where they really should have been able to put them on the board, especially when they were on the New England 30. They would have been able to score a field goal at that moment in time. I personally believe they would have won the game. So, with that being said, and based off what you're saying, so Stevenson wasn't running his routes right or whatever, right? And they're just trying to win a champion. So that means they were forced to put the ball in Matt Ryan's hand to hit the trophy. My question to you, based off of what I just read, is Matt Ryan.
Again, you're trying to force you're trying to paint me into a corner, for one. It still comes down.
Okay, it starts with the head, though, right?
If
You would agree with that, though.
let's just say a guy catches the ball, he runs the proper route, everything is we're not even talking about. So like I get what you're trying to say, but it's still a matter of execution. He doesn't. If Jake Matthews doesn't hold, we're not looking at it. Maybe we're looking at a bigger play.
Okay,
So
I'll give you Tom Brady. I'll give you something that Tom Brady said to Oprah Winfrey. He actually talked about execution himself. He said, "Hey, if there's a guy who couldn't necessarily get to the ball that I threw, because that's on me. I have to take responsibility for that because I didn't put the ball where
He's the quarterback. What else are you supposed to say?
I'm talking about execution. We're talking, and whether you eat it or not, people still calling him the greatest quarterback of all time. Right, but he's still considered a GOAT. So if he's saying that and taking responsibility for whether he wins or loses, even the Super Bowls where he lost against Eli Manning, right? Those are the only two that he lost. Either, no, I didn't play a good enough game. I did not put the ball where it's supposed to be. He took ownership for that.
If the ball, if
The ball was supposed to be, and only Tom Brady knows that. I can't repeat that whatsoever.
Okay, so Tony Romo's saying the same thing too. Tony Romo would say there are times where I didn't put the ball where I needed it. And we were able to make it. My whole point is this, and you know, we could say we agree to disagree on this, but at some point in time, you know, we got to put that, you know, the game of football.
That's not how football. No coach teach we're gonna put this on one person. No football coach ever on any level.
When you are the team captain and the head of your team, Dak Prescott puts it on himself.
He's the quarterback that's supposed to do that. He's the leader. But no coach.
Exactly.
No coach.
So you're saying exactly what I'm saying. As a leader, you have to. You can't. You know, he's not. My whole point is that it's for execution with bad leadership.
It's not his fault. You can't.
And it still leads to no type of Super Bowl trophy here in Atlanta, in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Going back to why
it's not. Not trying to point the finger at one particular guy for losing a game. You have a 20-point.
I said at the last two touches that Atlanta had. Yes, I'm putting the blame on him for
If the defense
I'm saying
does
you
job,
$50
we're
million
not looking at a blown game. So how can you point the finger at one particular guy? That's not how the team. That's not how sports on any level.
It does. Yes, it does.
Who told you that?
When you have, if you're managing a company, right?
You
You're the
get
CEO.
on
The CEO. Yes, you have a lot of people working underneath you, right? But you're the one who still makes the decision. You're the still one that has to execute. If something goes wrong, everybody looks at the CEO. Am I wrong?
Bro,
Tell me I'm wrong.
we're talking about.
It's the same. It's the same exact. No, it's the same exact thing.
Absolutely wrong.
It's the same. You are managing a bunch of people underneath you. I relate to support myself. I understand that. You gotta know your role. All right. And what's the main thing that everyone says? Play, know your role, do your job.
If
Right?
you're not doing
As
it for
quarterback, you fail.
no, bro. What are you
saying?
doing?
Yeah.
That's complete.
All right, guys.
Bullshit.
All right, guys. Guys.
Out
there. Enough. Stop.
It's
Enough. No, enough. All right, guys. We're like literally just talking in circles. We let you guys say your piece about this. It's been 20 minutes now. We got 20 minutes left in our show, and we still want to talk Super Bowl. So we're exiting this conversation, unfortunately. And we're going to move on to Super Bowl. And if you two want to keep rocking with us, please feel free to stay. If not, we understand. We appreciate you guys for calling in and having this debate. But we need to move forward. So let's go Super Bowl now. Patrick, you said earlier I didn't quite to get your selection because you hop right into it. Who do you think is going to win and why? And what's going to be, the biggest key of the game?
I got Kansas City winning by 3. I'd say like 31-28, something like that. I do believe both teams are going to be able to score. I think that why do I think that? I think Andy Reid is going to come out with a good game plan on both sides of the ball. I think special teams will play a factor in this game. It could be a block punt, a missed field goal, or a punt return or kickoff return. But I trust Pat Mahomes more than I do Jimmy G. And if I have to put my eggs in one quarterback to make the play, I'm going with Pat Mahomes. So I think that they win because I think they'll be better coached on all facets of the game, and I think that they're going to get that special teams play that's going to make the difference in the game.
You know what? I'm 100% sick of hearing this year, this Super Bowl already. If I have to hear one more time about how great of a guy Andy Reid is, I think I might jump through a window. All right, we get it. He's a great guy, and everybody wants him to win. I'm just kind of sick of hearing. Is anybody else on the line, or did everybody hop off?
Yep, we still got Mike, we still got Danny, we still got Nate.
All right, round the horn on them. Get their ideas. Mike, you
go with Danny.
Go with Danny. I'm sorry.
Go Danny first. Yeah, Danny's been quiet.
in the background for a while. What's your pick and what's the keys to the game for them?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. Wait, where's the thing played at?
Yeah, it's played in Miami.
Done. You
I
can't
had to.
the best. That's what
joke's dead after this week. Y'all know that, right? Until next year. Joke's dead.
Oh my God, that is the best.
So I think I'm gonna go KC. You know, typically you want to say typically say defense wins championships, but I think in this case, KC's offense is too much for that defense. And I'll say this every time, for the most part. I am a firm believer in today's game that offense will beat your defense every day. Like a very elite, high-powered offense will beat a good defense. I don't think it'll be as high scoring as some people think. I'm kind of leaning around 24, 21, 24, 17. I do believe that the defense will keep Kansas City at bay for most of the game. But I think there's just going to be a few key plays that get, just kind of like blown up that create a easy score for KC. So I think that's kind of how I see it going.
Let's go with Lou.
He gone.
Oh, he gone. Mike, same question. Mike gone too?
No, Mike's still here.
I said Mike then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who you got? Who you got? When and why? I don't think he can hear you.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Okay.
All right, so who you got winning the Super Bowl, and what's the key to the game for them to win?
Honestly, I think this is a game of matchups, and I know Richard Sherman is probably one of the best corners we've ever seen in the game, but he's always had matchup issues. He's always been a corner that has never truly lined up against the best, and when he lined up against the best, he's had issues with those guys. You go back to Roddy White, you go back to Julio, you go back to, Dez White. I mean, a lot of top elite receivers. Richard Sherman has never truly, mirrored any of these guys. And why I'm saying this is because those freaking athletes with Kansas City, they are a freaking problem. Nicole Hartman, Tyreek Hill, they will target Richard Sherman. And he has to play the game of his life if they want to win this championship. Why? Because you have Travis Kelce that's going to control the middle. They can control the middle with Travis Kelce as well as Damon Williams coming out of the backfield. So that linebacker is going to be tighter. So that's going to leave Richard Sherman one-on-one outside with Nicole Hartman and Terry Gill. And I believe that Richard Sherman is going to play, but that Tariq Hill and Nicole Hartman, it's I just have a hard time anyone matching up with those guys. I just think it's too fast, they're too athletic, and you couple that with a quarterback who can just do extraordinary things. He's calm in the pocket. He's just too much. He's too much to handle. And the offensive line is playing great. The offensive line is playing great at the same time. So if San Francisco wants to win the game, they have to make this a time of possession game. They cannot they will not win a scoring battle with this team. They cannot score. They have to win the time of possession. It's just too much of it.
It's funny because you got Richard Sherman sounding like Allen needs to put PD in. Listen, I agree with a lot of what you just said there. I'm interested more so to see what happens because we all know Richard Sherman doesn't go side to side. He doesn't follow the best receiver. He sits on one side of the field, and that's where he stays. I'm curious what happens every time Tyreek Hill lines up because speed kills, and we all know Tyreek's got a lot of speed. a whole lot of speed. So if they don't put a safety over top
So
at
they
any
don't
point in the
put safety
game, if they don't put a safety over top at any point in that game, if there's never a safety over top, expect that deep touchdown immediately. Moving on, Nate, you still out there?
Yeah, he's still there.
Nate, same question to you, man. Who you got winning, and what's the key to the game?
I got Kansas City by 2 or 3 points. I think it's going to be a close game. I think there might be a lot of points thrown up there, but both teams can be explosive. I just feel that Kansas City has more explosive offensive power, despite the really good defense in San Francisco. I think that they're just going to wear them out. Kansas City can not only just throw the ball, they can also run the ball very well too. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem when your defense is out on the field too long. And I think over the course of the game, you're going to see more explosive plays by Kansas City, especially in the second half of the game, due to that fatigue of the defense. And if any of y'all ever been to Miami, for some reason, it's like a sauna 24/7. If you're defense, I think that's going to definitely have a continuing effect on you, especially this late in the year. Yeah, right. So I think that might give Kansas City a little bit more of an edge over San Francisco, and I think that Mahomes is going to manage that team well enough to get them a Lombardi trophy.
It's funny because I've heard a lot over the week about both teams and everything, and the most interesting thing to me that I've heard all week is that one team is hotel is stationed right in the heart of Miami, and the other team's hotel is 30 minutes outside of Miami. The team that is 30 minutes outside of Miami is the team with the coach that is a Hall of Fame coach, is going to go down as one of the greatest coaches to ever coach, and Andy Reid. Much love for him. Much love for what he was able to bring to Philly and stabilizing us up here, and making our just stop it. Go. You can log off whenever you want. I got much love. I told you this. I got much love for every team that was left in it. I said I just didn't want Tennessee to win, but any other 4 teams, any other 3 teams that were there, I had rooted interest in all of them. My dad was a huge Niners fan. So if the Niners win, I'll be happy. But I think this is Andy Reid's time. I got this feeling, this gut feeling that this is Andy Reid's year. He definitely deserves it more than Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan needs to take his whooping a little bit more. You know what I mean? He doesn't really earn his stripes, and Jimmy G hasn't earned his stripes either. And here's my thing. Like, I'm not just saying like you brought up a good point about who you trust more in Patrick Mahomes or Jimmy G. I can't trust a guy that only threw 8 passes last week, and 2 has really, this is his first playoff experience is the last 2 games. I can't trust Kyle Shanahan, who doesn't have any coaching experience in the playoffs, head coaching experience in the playoffs. And the other point that I like that Mike brought up was Richard Sherman. Who's he going to guard in this game? Because I don't think he's fast enough to take up with anybody on Kansas City, and he could be like Mike said. Like Mike said, they're just going to target him and target him and target him. The X factor for me in the entire game, though, is going to be Damian Williams.
Yeah.
The how Kansas City runs the ball and how Kansas City gets him involved in that offense is going to be a major component, because we all know how good that defensive line is for San Francisco. So you got to throw them off. You got to hit them with the screen game, and I got a feeling they're going to screen the hell out of them. You're going to see old school Andy Reid offense, where they're going to screen the hell out of them.
I got to tell you that Kansas City needs to be ready to defend the pass early in the game. If I'm San Francisco, if I'm San Francisco, I'm coming out throwing, right? Because we saw what everybody saw what they did in the NFC Championship game. So Kansas City is going to be geared up to stop the run. They're going to be feeling pretty good because they shut down Derrick Henry, right? Which at that point in time was no small feat, right? Because he was on a serious roll. Mm-hmm. But I would be prepared to defend that pass in Kansas. I think, here's the thing with Kansas City, right? And then anybody can jump in if they want. We've seen them win these games in all kinds of fashions, but I really would like to see them get out and score first. I really would like to see them get out to a lead. I think if they can get up by 2 scores, and I'm talking, I think it's a wrap. I don't see San Francisco being able to rattle off 14, 21, 28 points. Not saying that they can't do it, because I will not be surprised at all if San Francisco wins this game. But I think Kansas City can do themselves a favor by getting out to a fast start. I think you want Jimmy G to have to throw the ball.
Yeah, you want to put the ball in Jimmy G's hands because you want him to have to prove to you that he could beat you. Honestly, I didn't say the score, but I think KC's going to throttle him. I think we're going to see. Okay. I think we're going to see a blowout. I don't think this is going to be a game really worth I think this is a game where it's going to be 28-3 at halftime, like it was for the Falcons. But the only difference is that KC's not giving this lead up.
All right, Mike, you wanted to add something. Go ahead.
Let me again. I went back and watched film with San Francisco and Atlanta. And one thing about Andy Reid and John, you kind of attest to this. Any Eagles fan can attest to this. That Andy Reid is one of the guys who's first. One of the guys that really revolutionized using the running back out of the backfield as a target to kind of get as an extension of the running game. And I think, San Francisco, I don't necessarily trust their linebackers in coverage because the Atlanta Falcons, we targeted those guys. And Devontae Freeman hasn't been healthy all year. And Devontae Freeman was using those guys in the passing game. So how and do you guys think the 49ers can handle Andy Reid's passing attack, his short passing attack? That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't know if they can. Like you said, those linebackers, pretty much anybody's linebacker core is the weak spot, right, when it comes to coverage, especially when you're dealing with that type of speed. Now, from what I'm hearing is that the 49ers are not going to be blitzing, so they are going to be placing a lot of pressure on their linebackers. They're going to come with a 4-man rush and try to cover. So I think you're right. And I think one thing that we'll see tomorrow as well is I think we're going to see Tyreek Hill a lot out of the backfield as well too. Because I'm not so much worried about him going up against Richard Sherman because Tyreek Hill can run past anybody. But I think the nightmare matchup is when you put Hardman out, like you said earlier, and you have Watkins on the other side. Like, they still have to be dealt with, right? So now you can have Williams flatten out, you can have Tyreek running the seam, and you can have Kelsey. And by the way, I think Kelsey is way better than George Kittle, so I don't even know why that's even a question.
I agree.
Some people ask that. I mean, I saw it all week. Who's the better tight end? I'm like, how is George Kittle even in the conversation? So my point being with that is, right, anytime you have to preface your answer with, well, if he's healthy, he's better. Well, then that means he's not better. So anyway, now Kittle may end up having a better game or bigger stat-wise, but that by no means makes him the better player. And I even saw someone say the question, like from Fox, was like, is George Kittle the best player in the NFL? I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, we're going to see the best player tomorrow, right? Like, and yeah, and I think, man, it just comes, for me, it just comes down to that. And I think everybody's pretty much healthy, right? There was no players listed on the injury report, but I'm reading now that LaShawn McCoy may not be suiting up, and that's kind of a letdown, right? In a way. I don't think it hurt the Chiefs, because they've been pretty much dealing, but it's kind of a letdown, and I'm sure he's disappointed if he's not able to suit up and play too, right? But Sean,
it's tough for LaShawn, because he got traded what 4 times in the last 3 years now, and he finally got in a good spot, and he's in the Super Bowl now, and he might not play. That's tough. I feel for the guy a lot, and it is what it is. unfortunately.
Yeah,
I was gonna jump on and say, it's funny because people would put Mike was saying about Andy Reid using the running back. It's like he's using a running, but he always used the running back out the backfield more. He's kind of revolutionized it in his own way, and he now has a quarterback that can nonstop hit that backfield because Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback that Andy Reid wanted Donovan McNabb to be.
sure you're right.
And it's kind of simple as that. And Alex Smith had the accuracy that he wanted McNabb to have, but didn't have the legs that McNabb had. You know what I mean? Didn't have the escapability that McNabb had. So Mahomes is exactly the quarterback that he wanted McNabb to be. The accurate, the deep pass accuracy, the legs, the escapability. Just he's just what he wanted from the start. And it's really So he's just the player that works perfectly in his system. Because if you actually,
you're absolutely right.
Listen, I mean, I'm an Eagles fan, so remember in that 2004 Super Bowl, I mean, McNabb missed 5 or 6 touchdown passes that game. Like missed a wheel route at the side of Brian Westbrook to go into half. Westbrook was wide open. That would have put us up 2 scores going into halftime. I mean, he missed L.J. Smith over the middle and towards the end of the game. He missed T.O. once or twice in that game. I mean, Mahomes is the quarterback that Reid always wanted, that he always wanted McNabb to be. But yeah.
All right, man. Well, that's it. Everybody is gone. Hey, Mike, thanks for calling in, man, and hamming it up with us, man. And appreciated you jumping on with us, man. It's always good to hear you, man.
We got
appreciate
the full show tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I won't be able to be on that, but I'll definitely be checking in on it, though.
I'm gonna try to check. I'm gonna try to hop on it.
You representing us tomorrow? All right, cool. All right, man. Don't forget. Yeah, the Super Bowl show tomorrow, and then catch the Red Cup rants on Tuesday nights. Man, Sean, sign us off.
All right, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful night. Let me pull up this little thing right quick.
Oh, you don't even have to do that, man. We need to go.
I'm doing it. It's too late.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
It's too late.
Let's do it. I'm gonna end the call. Ain't nobody on the line, so we'll just end the call.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
It's an Eternal Underground production.
Organized.
I know what it is, man.
Billy got drugged tonight.
To the Hodge Podge Sports Show with a picks on target sharper than Katniss Everdeen with a crossbow before you place a bet. Better check with Patrick and Sean first. Unless your aim is that, holler your Podge. Check the floor right here. Get them other stations. We got you covered. Don't waste your time. Ain't no need to straddle the fence. Now you can take a side with competition. Where you think a gazelle can take a line. If you in opposition, just listen. Or it will change your mind. So you catch him right here. And every show a banger like Ray Lewis at the quarter. You got a topic with Bullet Trust and God. Don't come on here talking that nonsense and don't know nothing. No hesitation, get put in your place. End the discussion. Ain't no shit coating over here. Keep it 100. Got a question? We gon' come with the answer like Irish. If you ain't know them, you know now just what time it is. I'm Sean, reppin' the city of brotherly love. Stand up, Superbowl, 52 champions. Baltimore in the building. Mixing with sports tech. Got Charm City on his back. Putting off with the light. How Ripken Jr. back with the Orioles.
This is a good show tonight, man. We had a lot of fireworks. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
And we're out at 11. So much better than midnight.
Bro, we could do this every week. We can switch to 9/11. I'd be 100% okay.
I am down with that, bro. I'll get Danny to change the graphic for us when I come back with when I take the picture back. Yeah, that works. All right, man. Well, let's get up on out of here, man. This is you and I in the start. I'll see you tomorrow for a little bit, and then I'll see you back here next Saturday.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna try something real quick and see if this works.